Ladies and gentlemen, we do the Mystery Cam every morning at 11:45. We have a guest guesser. I'm just going to recruit you in right now. It's Willie Jolly. He's our great guest here for the next 15 minutes. You have a book out now. The book is called Rich is Good, Wealthy
Rich
is
is
Better.
good, wealthy is better. So most people in America know me for my book, A Setback is a Set Up for a Comeback, which became a global bestseller and then turned setbacks into greenbacks, became a bestseller, then an attitude of excellence, and then it only...
Too fast, Will.
It only takes a minute to change your life. And then I want one I wrote with my bride called Make Love, Make Money, and Make It Last. How you like that? Do you like that? All right. And so we're newlyweds, by the way. We're newlyweds. We wrote a book as newlyweds. June 28th, we'll celebrate 41 years of marriage. And so we wrote the book just to help people, encourage them, and help them with their marriages. We've been married for 40 years. Haven't had an argument in 38 years.
You're lying.
Yeah, it's the truth. And we were on a Today Show, and someone said, "You never had an argument?" I said, "I didn't say that. I said we haven't had an argument in 38 years." Those first couple of years were like World War III. but we learned some wise principles from some wise mentors. We put what we learned in the book, and it saved a lot of marriages. So I encourage people to go to jollymarriage.com and get some of the free chapters and free tips, and also go to jollymarriage.com and see our TED Talk on how to never ever argue, because there's a system.
And we're going to talk money in a minute, but now you've got me intrigued.
Right.
The one piece of marriage advice you give.
Yeah, the one piece is friends first.
Okay.
That's the first thing, is friends first. You know, people get married for all sorts of reasons. Somebody looked good, they had a lot of money, they had a fancy car. But the marriages that win and last are people who really like being with each other.
I wanted to ask this question.
All right.
How can you change your life in a minute?
Yeah. I wrote the book. It only takes a minute to change your life. And the book is based on, I have a daily 1-minute motivational message that's syndicated. I'm also on Sirius XM. But the 1-minute message, I basically tell people, the minute you make a decision and act on it, you change your life. Now, many people will make a decision. 2 little birds sitting on the telephone wire. One of them decides to fly away. How many little birds you got left? 2. Why? Because until you act on your decision, nothing really happens. So the minute you make a decision and move in a new direction, you change your life. You might not reach your destination in a minute, but the minute you move in a new direction, you change your life.
Why is it so hard for people to do that?
Because
a lot of people are dreamers.
Yeah, well, because they think it, they talk themselves out of it. And they say, well, maybe later. They procrastinate, or they talk themselves out of it, and then they don't act on it. And fear sometimes takes over. Lack of confidence sometimes takes over. So what my job is as a professional speaker and a motivator is to encourage people to act on it. Jump and grow wings on the way. And that's what I did. Look, offline, we were talking, and I said, I'm here for a friend Jim Rohde's 90th birthday, and I'm going to speak and sing at his little celebration for him. And you said, I'm a singer. Well, I was a nightclub singer who won all the awards in Washington, D.C. for Best Jazz Singer, Best Entertainer, and I got replaced by a karaoke machine in the time of the karaoke craze. Because they said, we love you, but it's something cheaper that's going around the country. And I was devastated. What am I going to do for a living? I got a wife and children. And I took a job while I was trying to figure it out with the D.C. public school system as a drug prevention coordinator. And from there, I started speaking more conferences and teachers groups and more things. And Les Brown, the great speaker, and Gladys Knight heard me speak and invited me to be on tour with them as the opening act. Wow. And that exposed me to media as well as to corporate groups. I got a little radio show. It got syndicated. And then XM, now I have the #1 self-help show in the country on XM. Publishers started calling saying, we like your ideas. You ever thought about writing a book? So I got all these books now, all because I took an action.
Wow.
When you act and move on it. So this new book is probably the biggest one. Now, Setback Set Up for a Comeback Comeback, which talks about that story of being fired and replaced by a karaoke machine. Sold millions of copies around the world. But this book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, is going to be the biggest one yet. From the pre-responses, the early responses, people are buying it in droves. And let me tell you why.
And what do you mean about being rich is good, wealthy?
That's
How
it.
do we become
All right.
wealthy then if we're working,
first of all,
like 9 to 5?
Well, first of all, is that I've been on XM for 20 years. This is my 20th season, interviewing people like Bill Marriott, David Rubenstein, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson, one billionaire after billionaire, thinking I knew what wealth was because I'm the host of the Wealthy Way show. But one day that light bulb, that imaginary light bulb we all know about, went off above my head. I finally get the difference between being rich and wealthy. I figured I was the only one who didn't know. I missed the memo. So I run around the country speaking. I'd ask people, what's rich to you? Number one answer, $1 million. Okay, if rich is $1 million, what's wealthy? They'll look, they'll ponder, they'll look up in the air and they'll say, I guess 5 million, 10 million, $1 billion. And I realized they didn't know either. That's when I went back to those billionaires and said, here's my theory about them being rich and wealthy. Am I right? You're absolutely right. And most people don't know what it is. And most people have the capacity to become wealthy and don't know it. So I started writing the book. So 2 years later, the book is out. It's blowing up. Let me tell you what the difference is between being rich and wealthy. Before I tell you, let me give you a story. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio about a month ago. I'm at a fancy restaurant with my client, and one of the star players from the Cleveland Browns walks by. And my friend, the client, knows, come over, you got to meet Dr. Willie Jolly. The young man comes over with his fur and his jewelry and his bling, and he says, Dr. Willie Jolly teaches people how to be wealthy. The young man says, I'm already wealthy, but I guess I can learn how to be, I can get more wealth. He said, give me a card. I gave him a card. He and his entourage, all these people, left. When he left, I said to my client, that young man thinks he's wealthy. He's rich, which is good. The owner's wealthy. See, that young man comes to the stadium on Sunday. He pads up. He goes out on the field. He runs. He jumps. He sweats. He gets tackled. And then at the end of the day, he leaves. He's kind of beat up, but he goes home. Hopefully, he has a net worth of at least $1 million left. The owner never left the owner's box. He didn't sweat. He didn't run up and down the field. He didn't get tackled. And when he left, he had a net worth of over $1 billion. And when that young man is no longer productive or gets hurt, the owner's going to replace him with another one. So here's the secret. Rich and wealthy. Rich is a result of money you earn from what you do. Where if you do it well, people will pay you more money. Wealthy is a result of money you generate from what you own. Let me say it again. Rich is money you earn from what you do, typically during the day. Wealthy is money you generate from what you own while you sleep. That was a big, ooh, wow. And so
how do we get something that we own?
Okay, so many people,
work for us
well, many people say, well, I can't get wealthy because I don't make enough money. Not true. In the book, I give a chapter, there's a whole chapter on people who were not high income earners who became wealthy. The most profound is Mary Ellen Pleasant. She was a domestic worker in the 1900s. She would clean people's homes, never made more than $6,000 per year. But when she died, she had a net worth of $2.7 million. Why? She did two simple things. She made money, which we all do if we work, but she lived below her means and invested the difference. That's the secret. You must live below your means and invest the difference. So in the book, I give example after example, and I tell people that money is something that can grow if you understand how money works. So I've got fundamentals.
Less than a minute.
All right. So I want everybody first to go to winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie.com. Get some of the free stuff that we offer. We got lots of free stuff. Then I want you to go to Rich is Good, wealthyisbetter.com and get the book. Now, this book has 2 focus areas. 1, okay, 10, all the people who want to be wealthy, but 2 is all the people who have children they're concerned that children are going to squander the money. This is the good.
Wealthyisbetter.com.
Rich is good, wealthyisbetter.com, baby. That's it.
I love it. Thanks, Willie.
Come see us again.
I will.